Well, I'm talking with Henrietta Ewart. Now, I have to make it quite clear from the word go that we're talking about marijuana, but you are not talking in any official capacity, and that's absolutely got to be made clear because you're head of public health.
I'm Director of Public Health.
Yes. Which could have all sorts of implications. So
it can.
I know you're debating it with Dr Alex Allison anyway. Mm-hmm. You are against legalisation. He's going to be for it, and this is on Wednesday night.
No, again, we have to be careful with words.
Go on then.
A debate puts forward a motion.
Yeah.
Okay, and in this case, on Wednesday evening, the motion is going to be, this House believes that the economic and medical benefits of legalising all strains of cannabis outweigh the costs to society in the Isle of Man.
Okay, so that's basically saying to legalise all cannabis, not just medical, it's all,
everything.
You name it.
Absolutely. Breaks off.
I've been to Amsterdam. Have you done all that stuff ever?
Amsterdam is nothing on this.
Really?
In Amsterdam, cannabis is still illegal, but it is legal to buy and use in cafes.
Right. Okay.
But the supply that you're buying there is still from the illegal market.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
So
but coming back to the issue about debate, in a debate, the motion is as set, and one team is invited to support it, propose the motion, and the other team is invited to oppose it.
So that's what you're going to be doing?
Yes, I have been invited with my colleague to oppose it. That does not mean that reflects our personal or professional or any other views. I could have been invited to propose the motion, this House believes the moon is made of cheese, and I would have happily done so because I like debating.
You're such a professional, I love it. Okay, but let me just bat some questions which you're obviously going to get. You know, come on, we've got a finger in the dike, it's just happening anyway, everyone's at it, it appears, people are being arrested for this tiny amount, it's clogging up the court system. Just let's move on and deal with some stuff that's really important.
The problem is you're conflating some little issues there with the complete Big Bang scenario. Yes, and again, I'm speaking now purely as a personal individual, and I won't say anything either in this interview or in the debate on Wednesday that any member of the public couldn't find via a few minutes on Google.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure.
So the issues there are around decriminalisation that you touched on there, clogging up the court system. You can deal with that if you want to, without saying all types of cannabis will be legalised without any let or hindrance. Mm-hmm. Okay? And in fact, already across the UK, there is, in general, the three strikes principle for criminalisation or decriminalisation. Your first lift, nothing happens. Second lift, you get told off a bit more. Third lift, you may go to court. Mm-hmm. So, that's already quite different from a draconian seek and deal with approach to criminalisation.
I mean, this is a Manx debate, but at the end of the day, and I've said so many times, that at the end of the day, the old man's not going to be leading from the front, is it? I mean, this is just a debate and hearing people's views. But, I don't want to preempt what you're going to be saying, but is there any light at the end of this tunnel? I mean, this debate will just keep going, won't it? I mean, there's going to be people for and people against.
There are always going to be people for and people against, and I think, as always with politics, and when it gets to the political arena, which obviously we aren't on Wednesday because there's no official status to the Wednesday debate at all, it's purely for interest. And, from my perspective, I think it's a great opportunity to have an open debate in what one might call a safe and managed space, which is good. That's what we should be able to do.
I'm guessing, and I'm generalising massively here, that the younger generation are probably more pro let's have it legal, and maybe the older people are more against it. Does that have any sway in this at all?
Whether people are for or against it is perhaps, it needs to be tempered with evidence. I think for young people, actually our young people, as in teenagers and young adults, tend to be perhaps rather more conservative in matters of indulgence, shall we say, than some of the older generations. For example, we know that alcohol use is falling in young people, which is great. And there's some evidence for that around some of the other recreational use of substances too. Obviously, there is a generational thing with cannabis, which actually favours a more liberal attitude in older people, you know, those of us who were young in the 60s.
And we're not bringing into the medical side of this at all, are we, in this debate? This has nothing to do with this, or are you going to bring into it?
Medical has to be in there
Part
because of the motion as set, which says this House believes that the medical and economic
and
benefits...
therefore that in itself is a big discussion.
Yeah.
And I would love to put you on the record some other time. We can talk about that with the other hat on. Okay. The thing is skunk or something, isn't it? Isn't this where we're getting the massive problems with very, very strong strains of cannabis? I mean, I'm thinking like when I was a lad, I had a beer, but then people were pushing special brew at me because that was really strong. And of course, you just keep doing this. You keep trying something a bit more and more. Yeah. Your views on that? Well, the views you'll be able to debate on that.
Well, the evidence that is openly out there is that more and more of the current illicit cannabis supplies across, and by implication we believe here, when they are tested, are shown to be of increasingly high THC content.
That's the thing,
and that's what's known as the skunk varieties. That's what gives you the high. Obviously, there is a consumer preference issue here because actually there is some evidence that consumers quite like a high THC hit that they get with the illicit varieties. That is one of the things to take into account if anybody is thinking about a framework, and this is not the framework as proposed for the debate, but frameworks that have been used or are being used in some other jurisdictions, where you say, okay, we will legalise some strains of cannabis, where we will very carefully police and control the levels of CBD and THC in them, and only those strains and products from them meeting our criteria will be for sale in legal situations. Now the problem there is of course that punters vote with their feet, and if they really like the hit from skunk varieties, they will still seek out illicit supplies, and you can obviously bet your bottom dollar that illicit providers will be there to meet that market.
Okay, a medical question to finish with, and again the research will be out there, no doubt. That's what I'm asking you to refer to, not your own, in the sense of mental health. Connections, potential connections. Can you answer that at all?
Connections, and again it's openly out there. You can find multiple studies, and you can find a very good overarching review done by the World Health Organization, which clearly shows the associations with adverse impacts on mental health. One of the problems we have with cannabis and its impacts is that much of it comes from studies on illicit users. And obviously that raises all sorts of issues about who you actually get to ascertain as an illicit user, because clearly if people are having problems, becoming psychotic, presenting to care, and then it emerges that, you know, the episode of psychosis was related to heavy cannabis use, you've got a bit of what's called ascertainment bias going in. You only see those people who've come to the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. You don't know the numbers of people out there who are happily using and not getting a problem.
Well, it sounds fascinating. On Wednesday, where's this actually taking place, this debate?
It's taking place at the Palace Hotel, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And open to people to get tickets?
Yes, I think the tickets are for sale on Eventbrite, so you have to buy the ticket. You can't just pitch up on the night.
No, I think it's going to be very interesting, if not maybe a little heated debate.
Debate should never be heated because you're just producing argument.
Passion.
Not even passionate. Like I say, I'd happily stand up and argue that the moon is made of cheese if that's what I'm asked to do.
Maybe we'll have a debate about that.